Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast dedicated to helping you discover great wines with great value for every occasion. On this episode, we review
the Bollini Pinot Grigio from 2024 and the Bollini Merlot from 2023.
a twofer.
Twofer, ladies and gentlemen.
Buckle up, baby.
Double the wine, same amount of time episode, hopefully.
Okay, this is going to be good. We'll try to keep it on the rails as long as we possibly can. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joel, as always, joined by my two best buds, Aaron and Colin. Aaron and Colin, in one word, how are you feeling about a twofer episode, getting ready for Thanksgiving? One word, go.
Ecstatic.
I'll take it. Aaron?
Pineapple is what it looks like he wants to say. If you're not watching, it looks like he's trying to say pineapple, but he can't come up with it.
Pumped.
Okay. Not really getting too creative on either one, but I like it.
I know.
There's
Well, you
excitement.
limited it to one word. You
Okay.
said
I know,
ecstatic, and I was going to say pumped, and that's why I hesitated, because it means the same thing.
Mr. Creative,
I'll take it.
What's your one word, Joel? Give it to us.
Exuberant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was
Great.
better.
It's a pretty good
That
word,
was
right?
It means the same thing.
Yeah, it's a great
Off the
Synonyms.
top of my head, too. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
synonym,
good.
but rarely touched. And I feel like it's out of left field, and I like it. I think the kids at home are going to appreciate it.
Touche.
And I did not prepare you guys for that at all. I wanted the element of surprise. Listen, I am excited for today, though. We have had such a fun couple of weeks here. We had our Nebbiolo series, 3 awesome weeks of Nebbiolos. We had Antonin on last week talking about natural wine, low intervention wine. I think kind of blew our minds a little bit on what can be done in that world. So fun, so good. And now, we're in a time frame here, guys. Or I don't know if you've looked at your watches lately, but we got Thanksgiving coming up. We got Christmas coming up. I think a lot of people are probably at home trying to think, what am I going to bring to the table? I want to make sure that I'm happy. I want to make sure, mom and dad, peepaw, brother, sister, everybody's happy. Not everybody wants to be sitting down with, maybe a Nebbiolo or natural wine. You kind of want something, a fastball right over the plate. So I think that'll be, I'm hoping that's kind of the outcome today is we bring, 2 really good options for just drinking any time of the year. But also, if you are thinking about what to bring to a gathering, maybe we'll help you find something interesting in that realm as well.
Yeah, I feel like I really screwed that up over the past year.
Yeah.
Like I feel.
Did you swing too hard?
Yeah, I think that there's like this little bit of like, folks know about the podcast, so friends are like, oh, what wine are you bringing, or what are we drinking? And then there's like some friends who are like, what happened, man? I thought you usually have a bunch of good IPAs here. What's going on? What is this bottle of wine that you're bringing out? So I think there's this whole, and last year we did Friendsgiving, and we had a bunch of friends over, and it was great, and we had so much wine, but it also got to a point where like nobody wanted to talk about the wine.
Sure.
It's just like, we had like one cool bottle that everyone was like stoked about, but then after like a couple glasses, people just were like opening things up, and I was like, oh, that's a really good bottle that year. That's gone. Okay.
Ooh, that is scary.
Sometimes you just need a lot of wine. Something that you can just enjoy and not think about too much. Something that's going to go along with the meal. It's not going to get in the way. Just to keep the libations flowing, but you're not necessarily expecting a great wine. Just something you can throw on the table and have people enjoy.
Enter the table wine, right? Right? I mean, really,
Absolutely.
I think that's what we're talking about here. It's
100%.
And I think we're going to kind of explore this category of table wine over the next couple of weeks because they're set out to be exactly that. Like, to me, I mean, that's the point. It's not, we're not supposed to sit here and talk about it. It's supposed to literally be on the table, and it's supposed to be enjoyable. I mean, that's pretty much what we're going for here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you think historically table wine, it's usually just wine that a winemaking family would make that they would literally just have on the table for a meal. Over in Europe, wine is a bigger part of their culture than here. It's basically a food over there. They don't think of it as, having a glass of wine. They just always have a bottle of wine on the table. And for events that might not be as special, just everyday stuff, they have their table wine. So, it's kind of a category where it's just wine that you can enjoy, that, you might not have a conversation about, but it might help support that conversation because it's just nice, it's drinkable, and just an enjoyable glass of wine to enjoy the people you're with. So really, when you're thinking about table wine, that is kind of where your head needs to be.
Yeah.
And affordable, right? Too, in quantity, because
Totally.
on the show we obviously try to find affordable wines that are good, but even sitting in the $25-$30 range, which is not super expensive for a lot of wines out there. If I need to buy 10-15 bottles of wine because I'm hosting an event, you think every wedding you go to, and some weddings you go to, and there's a bottle of red and a bottle of white already sitting out, and people aren't walking over generally expecting like some super aged expensive wine at table. It's just like, oh, these are the table wines. So if I'm having folks over for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner, and I want to make sure I just have a bunch of red and a bunch of white available before I crack into like the special stuff for later in the evening, I want a wine that's I can get a bunch of for not a lot of money, that's also just going to be really accessible to everyone.
For sure. For sure.
Yep.
Fastball.
And it has
right
to be
down the
tasty
middle.
though, right? I mean, you can't just
Right.
accessible doesn't just mean uninteresting. There still has to be something there.
Right.
But you're right. You're not pulling out your absolute bangers for
Well,
table.
I think that's the hope for this episode. I think that's such a good
Right.
segue, Colin, because it's like we're hoping today that we've found a wine that's readily accessible, that comes from a little bit of a family with history, that is very affordable, and hopefully has a quality level to it that's beyond, without bad mouthing any of the grocery store wines out there. Like, yeah, you could grab a white and a red barefoot and toss those on the table, but don't do that. Like, there's better stuff out there for a similar price point, and we're gonna help you find that.
Yeah. And we don't, I don't want to pigeonhole these two bottles of wine before we even talk about them and get into them. We might have some diamonds in the rough here, right? I mean, not even the rough. This could be a wine fridge wine for one of us. That's totally cool too. We're just over the next couple of weeks trying. Yeah, exactly. These are potential contenders for this category, but we're going in eyes open and hearts open.
That's nice.
Can't lose. Was it that from that show? I don't remember. I never watched.
Somewhere in there. Clear eyes, full
like
hearts,
that.
can't lose.
That's the one. Hey, before I just go start coding more TV shows and movies, let's actually talk about these wines. Aaron, tell us a little bit more about what we're going to be trying today.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, we have two wines, both from Bollini. We have the Pinot Grigio from 2024, the Merlot from 2023. Now, this is fun. Bollini actually has two major vineyard areas that they operate out of, and these bottles of wine are one from each one. So this is from Vigneti delle Dolomiti, the IGT, and that's the Pinot Grigio, and the Merlot is from Trentino DOC. The Pinot Grigio is 100% Pinot Grigio. The Merlot is 100% Merlot. As I mentioned, we have 2024, 2023, so two very young wines. Both bottles cost in the $13 range. So, when we've talked about kind of 17 being that magic number when you're getting kind of low, like this is in the danger zone for some
sure.
wines that we've talked about in the past. So we're taking a swing here to try to help out everyone's pocketbooks. But we'll see how it goes. And then the last thing I'll say, and I think, Colin, correct me if I'm wrong, this also has a lot to do with table wine kind of vibes, is the ABV of these wines are 12% for the Pinot Grigio and 13% for Merlot. And I believe, that's also a big part of table wine. It's not a 14.5% knock you off your seat wine. They're usually very approachable ABV as well.
100%. Some just, we've used the word quaffable before. You're not quaffing 14.5%,
Anytime we can get
15%
quaffable
wine.
in there.
Yeah, that's right. Great word.
Wine
so you're
is
definitely
made to be quaffed.
Yes, that's right. So lower ABVs for sure.
Well, speaking of quaffable, let's quaff these. Let's go. You guys want to start with the Pinot Grigio?
Yes, I'm ready to quaff.
We're going to have to do one drop with the screw top and then another drop with the pop.
We've never had mixed drops before.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's going to be a
We're gonna
tough
have to do
edit.
it. So let's go ahead. Let's drop one now.
Okay.
Tastes like wine.
Very good. All right, we've got the Pinot Grigio open and ready. Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing I noticed right off the bat is a really nice pear note. It's really green fruited, this Pinot Grigio, which is really nice. I think that's kind of what you would expect out of most Pinot Grigios, but pear is definitely the first thing that's popping up for me. You guys want to throw some word at that?
Yeah, I can throw words. Yeah, definitely get a little bit of the citrus off the top and a little bit of, green apple.
Yep.
I would say, though, I like what Colin's saying with the pear because it does feel kind of balanced. It doesn't have like the sharp citrus coming out. It's all kind of part of that bouquet.
Speaking of bouquet, little lovely floral note in there. Not too much, but just nice little bit.
Really good call. Yep. Good call with the citrus, Aaron. I think there's a little lemon in there. Really good call with the green apple. I think that does it.
I think so too. Let's drink it. We'll go right back through. Colin, what are you getting?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're getting pretty much exactly what we mentioned on the nose. I don't think there were any surprises with this wine. Really nice pear note. I will say the pear really comes through on the finish, which is really nice. Like you get a little bit up front, but it kind of lingers as pear for me anyway. And then, the citrus is right on. You get a ton of that green apple. Really, really nice. It's almost like biting into a green apple. It's very fresh.
Yeah.
You get some of that skin because there's a little bit of bitterness in there, but then you get kind of that juicy green apple in the middle.
Yeah, I think a lot of what I'm getting like on the physical note, like with the structure note, is actually kind of pairing really nicely with what Colin is saying. There's that nice acidity going along with the citrus. There's a little bit of weight to this for a white wine, which I think, kind of gives that kind of like fresh, juicy, maybe kind of vibe that Colin's naming. It does seem quite quaffable. Quite quaffable.
It does seem quaffable. I think it's pretty light, though. I think it's like, not necessarily in a bad way, but like, for me, pretty thin. Pretty thin.
Yeah. No, I think, are you talking about body or flavor or what?
Body. Well, maybe a little bit of both, to be completely honest with you. Body, definitely. Flavor, it's not super powerful.
No, for sure. I would agree with you on that. But it's not terribly thin either. I think it's just kind of right in the middle, I think, as far as intensity is concerned. It's not overly intense, but it's not like disappointing, especially from this price range. I can think of some other wines in this price range that we've had that have been, water. So
I think that's kind of what I was naming. I was expecting for $12 for a Pinot Grigio to this to just be like, watered down apple juice, and it's like, yay. But it does. There's a little bit going on there, and again, like we talked about with the potential of a table wine, you don't want crazy things happening and having people talk about this. You want people pouring a glass of white wine and being like, this is a nice glass of white wine, and then going over to the salad bar. Like, it's I am so far not finding anything about this popping out to me that is disappointing or not what I'm looking for in this glass of wine.
I don't disagree, and I love that your mental image right now is occurring at a Ruby Tuesday. That's perfect.
I worked at a Ruby Tuesday for many years.
I know you did. I'm sure that's why you went back there.
I can see it now. No, I'm very much envisioning like the opening of a wedding right now, and I'm really thinking about like those two bottles sitting on the table in that wedding place, and like just what is making everyone sitting down there happy with those bottles of wine. And that's kind of like what I'm looking for the bar for table wines right now.
I don't disagree.
And then just real quick back to the flavor notes, Joel, you mentioned floral. I think that was a great call in there because there's definitely some of that on the palate as well.
Right? Thank you. I'll take that. All right. Let's do this, Merlot. Drop number 2.
Tastes like wine.
All right. Okay. Interesting here. Interesting. I'm going to switch it up. Aaron, I'll go to you first. What are you getting?
Yeah, like a nice big cherry bomb on the nose. Like as soon as you get that smell right there. Definitely some dark fruits, but those are the two big that pop out for me right away.
Yeah. I think there's a ton of red fruit in here. Cherry's a great call. I think there's a little bit of strawberry even. Maybe a little bit of that. I think back to the blind tasting episode where we did the California Merlot and had a little bit of that like almost mintiness. I think the official flavor note is tomato leaf, but who knows what tomato leaf tastes like?
I don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So a little bit of that mintiness in there, but not in like the weird kind of fake mintiness way, but kind of just in the Merlot mintiness way.
But not in a artificial, like I'm not getting hit with the over the top artificial minty coverage. Like it just seems to be like coming off naturally.
I agree with all of that. Only thing I'll add in there too is, and this may be crazy, but it's like a little like candy apple-ness to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I almost said licorice. Are we in like the same ballpark here?
I think to me, it's more like what I'm focusing on is the candy shell of a candy apple more than the apple even. But like that, it's been a while since I had a candy apple. But if you could think back to the last time you had one, like that kind of aspect of it, which I guess would be kind of like a cherry flavoring. So maybe in that same area.
Almost like, I was going to say almost bruised apple. Like it's very dense apple flavor, if that makes sense. It's not like where the Pinot Grigio was very fresh apple. This is more like, candy apple I think is good. It definitely is a little weightier, but I like the call of apple. I think that's a good call. Is anybody getting a little earthiness in there too? Just a tad bit?
It's so funny. I couldn't put my finger on exactly what, but there was something not fruit, not even food related that I was trying to put my finger on and I couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And then maybe, is anybody getting oak? That's my other question.
So I was going down do you want me to give it away?
Go, please.
So it's a stainless steel aged.
I figured.
So I was, I was trying to go down the tech sheet a little bit, learn a little bit more about this. And so aged in stainless steel. But yeah, you guys are nailing it on the notes though. You get little hits of spice. That's one of the notes from the tech sheet, but real fun with the red fruits.
Yeah.
Should we give it a shot?
Yeah, let's give
it a shot.
Well, since you have the tech sheets up, go ahead, Aaron.
No, I'm not going to. I mean, there's nothing on the tech sheet we haven't already said. I will say that sip, spot on. I think the cherry is kind of really nice in there. Body, like medium. Tannins are in there if you're looking for them, but they're not overbearing. Like I'm a tannin person, so I'm kind of swishing around and I'm finding a little bit. And I'm like, hey, if someone's not a big tannin fan, like they can kind of drink right past that and they probably wouldn't bother their experience at all. But yeah, overall, again, the big thing I'm looking for at a $13 bottle is those artificial tastes, and I'm not getting any of that.
I agree with you there. Yeah. Colin?
Yeah. I think we mentioned thin as not a bad thing in the last one, but this is a little thin in not a great way. Like, I think all the flavors are there, but the palate is a little bit thinner in flavors than the nose. I was expecting, honestly, some more ripe flavors, and you get a lot of that acid, which is nice. I don't dislike that, but it's just not as bold as, honestly, I thought you would get from what we were getting on the nose.
Kind of want like a little more weight to it.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was going to say, to me, this is about the same weight as the Pinot Grigio, and it worked in the Pinot Grigio. Not getting into review, but yeah, do I feel like I'm wanting slightly? Maybe. But I like your point still too, Aaron, which is like, there's nothing fake. There's nothing bad. It's just not complete in some way, and I don't know quite yet what it is.
Yeah. Do you know what came across my mind too? Usually, I would assume that most of the Merlot we usually have is oaked, and this being stainless steel, it might be missing some of that, oak-driven undertone.
Yeah.
So
just a little bit of
I wonder
oak might have added just a little bit more to it,
Yeah. Well, oak adds some tannin, oak adds some spice. Definitely not getting too much of either of those, to be honest. The tannin is actually really nice. I'm enjoying the tannin quite a bit. I think as far as like when you think of table wine, this is kind of what you want for red and tannin because it's not offensive. Nobody's going to really balk too much at the amount of tannin in here. I just wish we were getting the nose on the palate is really, I think, my one thing here.
I think it's like a missed opportunity there. But again, going back to the lens of like a table wine that just anyone sitting down is going to just
$13
be okay, like not just be okay drinking, but kind of enjoy drinking. Like I'm enjoying this. I agree with you 100% that I feel like there's an opportunity for this to be more than what it is. But if I sat down at a table, and I'm just like eating dinner and this is the wine on the table and I'm pouring it, I wouldn't be like I'm not finishing my glass or pushing my glass away. I'd be like, cool, like this is red wine.
Just a hint, slight little hint. The only thing I'm going to throw out there in addition, little black pepperiness at the end. That's
look at you with the peppers.
Kind of delightful.
Peppers.
Yeah, I don't dislike that at all.
You got to
think about food pairing a little bit.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
Let's do that. Love it. Okay, cool. Hey, you know what? I think that's good. 2 quick profiles right there. Let's let those kind of sit. Let's let those open up. Let's maybe learn a little bit of something.
Time to drop some knowledge. Wine drops.
All right, let's kick off this learning segment. We're going to do it a little bit differently here. I think just kind of inspired by the fact that we're doing a red and a white today, I employed the 2020 rule. I don't know if you guys did. I wonder if you did. You did, Aaron? Okay.
Absolutely.
Please run us through, remind us, I know we've talked about it before, but remind the kids at home, what's the 2020 rule?
All
By the
right,
way, this
folks,
is not like in stone, okay? This is just a good rule to keep in mind. Take it.
No, strong practice. Folks at home, if you are not doing this already, there's a really simple way to make sure that you are serving your wine at the correct temperature, and it's called the 20-20 rule. So if you have a white wine you want to toss in the fridge, a lot of times people leave their wines in the fridge for way too long. They pull it out right before they serve it, and it's too cold, and it dulls the flavors. It actually doesn't bring out the best in wine. So if you're serving a white wine that's supposed to be chilled, take it out of the fridge 20 minutes early and give it time to come down a little bit. On the flip side, a lot of reds you don't want to serve at just absolute room temperature. You want to give it a little bit. So you want to toss it in the fridge about 20 minutes before you serve it. So it's not overly chilled, but you just give it a little bit of time to come down a few degrees from room temperature. So white wine, toss in the fridge whenever you want, but take it out 20 minutes before, so that's the right temperature when you serve it. Red wine, toss it in the fridge 20 minutes before you want to serve it, and that's the 20-20 rule.
Get a little chill on. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Wonderful. 20-20 rule for most things. Great place to start. Always exceptions. And a lot of times, quite frankly, look at the back of the bottle. A lot of times there's really specific thoughts about how the wine should be served. It's often on the back label. All right, so that being said, before we get back into our final reviews, I thought it'd be fun to learn a little bit about Bollini. Since we have two bottles here, we might as well learn a little bit about who we are drinking from today. So Joel, can you start us off? Who founded Bollini and why?
Yeah. Really, it's a story of two kids in love with a dream.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
But in a way, totally true. Neil and Maria Empson. So these are two Americans, actually, and they just kind of, they loved wine. They fell in love with Italy. They fell in love with Italian wines, and they wanted to get in on that, essentially, and they wanted to highlight the beauty of Italian wines. Founded Bollini in 1979. They really wanted to focus on varieties from Friuli and Trentino and just make really good wine. And what we're seeing today is affordable wines, and that was kind of always something that they wanted to do. They wanted to really highlight and respect the art and the beauty of Italian wine, but make it really accessible as well. And I think, you know, definitely from a price point perspective here, I think we're seeing the fruits of that. But yeah, that's kind of where they came from. And then interesting kind of where they chose to set up shop. So Colin, question for you. If you could just tell us a little bit more about where Bollini itself is based and what is it that makes the land, the terroir, so unique?
Yeah, sure. So we are in northeast Italy in the region of Trentino Alto Adige, which is famous for its Pinot Grigio. And that is located in the foothills of the Dolomites, which is a mountain range there, where steep alpine slopes, cool climates, and mineral-rich soils produce the nice, crisp, clean, aromatic wines, especially white wines that you would expect out of that region. So, you know, with that in mind, Aaron, what kind of winemaking style are the Bollinis going for today with their winemaking?
Yeah, I mean, so they really focus on, clean varietal expressions and balance. They are minimal intervention, and they were celebrating recently being named all their wines are considered vegan. We've talked about on the show, like, people like, aren't all wines vegan? It's like, it has to do with just where, animal impact happens throughout the process. And so all of their wines are certified vegan. And I think also when we talk about European wines, like, any of those certifications are a little bit harder to come by. So that's something they're proud of. And they do focus on stainless steel fermentation, to make sure that they are, preserving the actual flavors from the varietals and not adding on with oak, as we kind of talked about earlier today.
Coming from that region, you would expect kind of that fresher style, especially, at the foothills of the mountains there. That's really what the region's known for. So, it's cool to see them kind of fit into that style and that region.
It is. And it makes, I think kind of all of that really paints the picture of how we got to these bottles in front of us. Not just the,
Sure.
talking about the region and the grapes and all that good stuff, but the people and kind of what they set out to do. I think it almost sounds like their mission was to create nice Italian table wines. So,
well, I think they were exporters for
yeah.
almost a decade before they kind of founded their own label. So I think there was this aspect of like, look at all these wines, and then having probably that like inside baseball knowledge of, like, ooh, these are the wines that people outside of Italy are buying. Let's, make sure that we can make wines that also hit that market.
Totally.
Mark?
It all makes sense. All right. Love it. Awesome. Always good to learn a little bit about what we're drinking. And at this point, guys, I think we should just go ahead and roll into our review here of these Bollini wines. What do you think?
I wouldn't want to table this any longer.
Oh, there we go. That's why he gets paid the big bucks.
Wait, he's getting paid?
That joke was worth exactly how much I get paid.
Wait a minute. Let's go. Okay, let's do this. All right, as I am hosting and we've now made this the rule, I will go last in my review.
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
All right, let's get into this. We're going to do it. We've got 2 wines here, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around to each person one time. I want to hear your review and anything new that you might want to note for first the Pinot Grigio and then the Merlot. Okay? Colin, I will send it to you first.
Sure. Am I getting anything new on the Pinot Grigio? Not really. I think it's pretty much the same wine it is when we opened it up. That being said, for $13, this might be one of the best cheap Pinot Grigios I've ever had, to be completely honest. It's really good for $13. I mean, the price to value ratio here is outstanding. It's the most complex wine I've ever had, no, but like for $13, I'm buying this over any other $13 Pinot Grigio that we've definitely had on the show. Like, this is a no-brainer for me. So I actually think the Pinot Grigio is a must-share for $13.
Ooh, baby.
I mean, it's tasty. It's, again, at this price point, I don't know if you get much better, to be honest. Yeah. So for that reason, I'm calling this one a must share.
Colin, I'm so relieved you went there, because in my brain I was trying to do mental gymnastics. I'm like, I don't know, are they gonna make fun of me if I say this is a must share because it's a $13 wine? Like, I was like, so the fact you went first and put it there, because I mean, for $13, this is a prime example of a wine that you can buy and look at someone who is buying Pinot Grigio from a gigantic mass-produced, just monster that's producing low-quality wine, and say, hey, not only, like, Joe loves to say, like, just spend a few bucks more. Like, this is an example of, like, spend the same amount of bucks, and it's right here, and this is way, way better. So I think, would I put this up against, a $25, $35 Pinot Grigio? Probably not. But in this price range, this is going to be the king of that price range, at least from what we've tried so far. So absolutely 100%. Must share of the $13 Pinot Grigios for sure, and therefore just a fantastic white table wine choice.
I do not disagree with you guys, but I think you might be abusing the word price range slightly, because I do agree that this is a really nice representation of Pinot Grigio, the best $13 Pinot Grigio for sure. But if we're employing an actual range and we can say 13 to maybe 18, I think we've had some.
I wouldn't use that range.
Better.
I wouldn't use that range.
We're talking $5.
My range is 8 to 13. Like, that's my range. I think.
Okay, so you're moving the floor on me. You're moving the floor.
What I would say is, this is the lowest amount of money that you could probably spend and expect a halfway decent bottle of wine.
I like this more than the Vino Verde?
Oh, that's really good though. But that's totally different. It's totally different. It's totally different. It's a totally different thing.
It's close though.
I'm going to go back to my range situation.
But it's in there. It's another great one.
I hear what you're saying. You can move the goalposts. That's fine. If I look at this as this is now the floor, $13 to $18, I think with a little extra cash, what most of us can probably scrounge up in like the couch cushions and under your seat in the car, couple of bucks, I think you get better examples. Okay. So very, very enjoyable. Super, super happy that, at the lower end of that, it's still a really nice wine. But I'm going to go with casual sipper on this one. Really nice. And like you said, quality stuff. There's nothing offensive here going on. But to me, looking just at the wine and comparing to things that we've had, just literally a couple more dollars, not even a $5 foot long difference. And we're I think, we've got some better examples. So that's why casual sipper for me.
I will say though, if I can toss on, I don't disagree with what you're saying. Obviously, I think we've mentioned in the past, like when you get in that $17 mark, you kind of get a leap in quality sometimes. If I have to buy a lot of wine and I have to buy a lot of white wine, there is a difference between spending $13 a bottle and $18 a bottle. Right? Like it just adds up. So if I'm looking at that minuscule, don't do the math. I see your face. I know what you're about to do.
I didn't know that we're doing, multiplication as part of our
Well, we're literally
review.
talking about table wine. We're literally doing a table wine series. So that's literally what we're talking about here. And so, like if we're talking about I'm getting wine specifically to put out possibly en masse, I think this is just a fantastic representation of something I'm going to grab. And if I'm going to grab white wine, this is what I'm going to grab.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's fair. I don't disagree. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about the difference in quality.
No, I think we're splitting hairs here. But I was comparing mine to grocery store wines. If to pick this up in a grocery store, this is better than anything that I've ever picked up at a grocery store. Even if you can find this in the grocery store, buy this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I also I think
getting
the last
contentious
thing,
in here.
No, but I think the last thing I'm saying is, for the sake of table wine, like I think when we say casual sipper on our show, casual sipper is the definition of a table wine, right? Like that's what we're talking about. We're talking about accessible, affordable, and something that's just like nice and just like fine. It's a sip. And so I think when you name it as a casual sipper, like that is 100% the purpose of the wine. I think Colin and I are giving it some bonus points for the quality and the price range compared to other wines in that. But I think what you're saying is 100% right for what we're actually looking for this week.
I'll take that.
Good.
We'll leave it at that one. I agree. I want to hear what you guys think about this Merlot. I can't wait anymore.
The what?
The Merlot.
I'm
going to go right back through. Colin, what do you think?
Yeah, this one for me doesn't hit like the Pinot Grigio does, to be honest. It's a little thin on the flavor. It's just I just want more. There's just something missing there. The structure is fine. It's it's a wine you could probably drink a lot of, but I think this, for me, it's a backup wine. And honestly, after a couple bottles of the Pinot Grigio, I'm going to the Merlot. So I think pound for pound, the Pinot Grigio much better value than the Merlot. So the Merlot for me is a backup.
All right, Aaron.
I think it's a casual sipper. I think while I think that there's something they could do to make it better, I think again at that $12, $13 price range for a red wine that I want to put out and just have everyone enjoy, without thinking too much about it. The flavors are right. The structure's right. I agree with Colin that if it had a little bit more, maybe it had some oak, maybe something, just a little bit more kick to it, it would be a higher quality wine. But I think for the purpose of putting out a red on the table that everyone is going to enjoy, I think it's a casual sipper. And I have been casually sipping it all night pretty happily. So that's where I'd put it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I don't think, definitely the Pinot Grigio was a really, really nice example of a $13 Pinot Grigio. This to me is a nice example of a $13 Merlot. Like, to me, they're kind of in the same realm. Casual sipper. Totally agree with what you guys were saying, but like doing what it's supposed to do for a table wine. We're hitting that so hard, but it's so true. And to me, they're both doing it well. They're both casual sippers. Casual sipper here. Yeah. I mean, this is not going to get in the way of anything that you're eating. This is not going to get in the way, of your enjoyment of the evening. It's only going to enhance it, and that's what it's there for. So,
like, I'm literally imagining both these bottles on my Thanksgiving table spread to start off when people are sitting down. Like, that's what I'm imagining in my head right now. Like, they're already sitting out, they're already open. The white's like sitting in a bucket or something like that, and then people are sitting down just pouring. And then as the dinner goes on, I'm introducing the more intentional wine and the more thoughtful wine, the more expensive wine. But this is the stuff that I'm going to use to get the party started or to just help people, socially lubricate as they go throughout the night.
Let's talk about that, because we need to, we started the show talking about, hey, we want to help you try to find some, good, interesting wines to bring for Thanksgiving that everybody's going to like, everybody's going to enjoy. On a scale of 1 to 5 yams, 5 being perfect for Thanksgiving. One being, don't bring this to the table. What are you giving this from that? Take out the cost, take out our reviews, comparing it to everything else. Just looking at, is this a good bottle to bring for a Thanksgiving, a Christmas meal, whatever you celebrate, a holiday meal? 1 to 5 EMs, go.
I mean, am I bringing this to a party to be like, this is what I brought? No. If I am hosting the party and I am putting wine out, 5 EMs. Like this is what is out.
5 EMs.
5 EMs. Yeah. Like this like when I'm thinking about my family back home and my aunts and uncles who do not know the difference between really, really good wine and wine that they just like the taste of, 5 EMs. Like this is check out this red wine. They're gonna write home about it.
Both the Pinot Grigio and the Merlot, 5 EMs.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I think to what you said earlier, we as wine drinkers know that this Pinot Grigio at 13 is punching above its weight, and the Merlot is missing a little bit.
Oh, he just called us wine drinkers too. Can we stop for a second?
We are in fact wine drinkers.
We do drink a lot of wine.
Celebrate that.
We do drink I love wine. That. But I think to your average person, especially around the table like Christmas or Thanksgiving, these are both just tasty wines.
Yeah.
And I can buy 8 of them and not break $100.
Fair. Pinot Grigio, 5 EMs. Merlot, 3.7 EMs.
Yeah. I'll take that. Yeah. I was going to say 4.5 yams for the Pinot Grigio, 4 yams for the Merlot.
Well, it's still a lot of yams.
Yeah, that's
a lot of yams.
Yeah, it's good yamming. It's good yamming.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So no, I love that. I don't, looking around, not a waste of your wine. I mean, gosh, at $13 and being drinkable, that's not a waste of your wine. This is much more than drinkable. This is lovely. And got at least 3.7 to 5 yams for both. And not a waste of your wine. Enjoy. Don't be afraid to bring these. If you see these and you're looking for something to bring. This
reminds me of our friend Wannabe Sommelier talking about the soldier being like that front line wine that you put out for the people who you don't know. This is like the landmines. These are the wines you're putting way the front out to be like, as people come through the door, you're handing them glasses of this to be like, all right, I am assessing where you're landing. Like this is the first wine you are putting in people's hands at the holiday party.
This is your mortar. You're sitting back and you're just shooting these out everywhere. Yeah.
People are pouring this for themselves as they're walking around the party, and you don't mind. Like you don't care. You're paying no mind to that.
Yeah, that's
great. 2 solid table wines, no doubt.
2 solid. Buy a bunch of them. Load up.
Especially the Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially the Pinot Grigio. It's a $13 white, solid.
In lieu of a game, I will have introduced the yam rating scale, and I feel good about it. Let's end it there. Okay?
Okay.
How do you guys feel?
Yeah, no, love it. Okay. Let's do it.
I'm double fisting wine glasses right now, so I couldn't play a game.
We have our work cut out for us tonight, gentlemen. Yeah. No, this has been lovely. We're going to talk next couple of weeks. Same kind of thing, y'all. These. Totally. Yeah, just lovely.
Just take a minute. Sure. Like I was really worried when we were doing 2 $13 bottles of wine. I just want to name that. Like I was really concerned. We've had some wines go real sideways.
Yeah. Sideways.
Come on,
Merlot
that was a
joke.
Merlot
Sideways
joke.
Merlot joke.
It was a sideways Merlot joke.
That was very good.
Remember when Paul Giamatti almost killed an entire industry?
Yeah.
Tune in next
Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pretty wild.
All right. No, that's what I'm perfectly happy with the $13 bottles of wine.
Yeah, for sure. And can I just say, if we're talking Thanksgiving wine real quick, go check out the Petite Sauvage from Pear and Antonin. That would be phenomenal Thanksgiving
I am so proud of you. Cannot my goodness.
Yeah. Listen,
are you talking about the red or the white?
Both. Get them both.
Okay.
They're both really good food wines, and they were both delicious.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. All right. Love that. And then I'm excited too, because we got a couple of weeks where we're going to kind of be doing the same sort of a thing. Okay. We're all in the same place. I think we're all trying to, get through some of these weeks, get things planned out. There's a lot going on this time. We want to try to make things as easy as possible for you. We're going to try to continue to find some of these really lovely, approachable wines that, a lot of folks will enjoy. So we got a couple weeks lined up. Aaron, what do we have coming up? Give us a little preview.
You're going to want to tune in because we are doing our best to make sure that the next couple months of your life are as easy as possible. We don't want you to break the bank, and we know that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to buy wine. So we're doing another week of table wine. We're doing a port episode coming up. Yeah. We're going to do some
Lovely.
we're going to do some affordable sparkling wine episodes to get you ready for the New Year's. And we're going to do a couple episodes on affordable gift wines. Nice wines to hand over to folks when you're showing up for the parties.
So
that
kind of
aren't
like
going to break the bank and going to make people happy.
The reverse of this one, where it's you still don't want to break the bank, but you want to impress a wine drinker or somebody who knows something about wine, right? Like
exactly. And I mean, I think it's really also about finding a bottle of wine that just anyone, no matter where they are on their wine drinking scale, is just going to appreciate or enjoy. That there's bottles of wine out there that we think are fantastic that are just a little bit too far off the map for someone who's just like not there yet. And we just want to find those bottles of wine that anyone receiving that gift is going to appreciate and enjoy.
I'm going to tune in. You got me.
I'll be
I mean, hey,
yeah.
One listen. Check.
On the edge of my seat. Let me know when it's ready. I can't wait.
Every
Until
Tuesday.
then, though, this is
Every Tuesday.
Oh yeah, that's right. Very
Every
cool.
Tuesday at 4:30 a.m.
Oh, great. Okay, there you go. Little plug for all my 4:30 a.m. wake up fans out there. You're waking up just in time for the drop.
Yo, for the handful of you who listen to the show before I get up in the morning, thank you.
Props.
My God.
Big thank you. Or
Well
shall we say Dankeschön?
Sure.
Yeah, we can say that. Sure.
Shall we say merci? All right. Well, this has been so much fun and glad that we started off with a bang. I think we're all pretty happy here. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks. Before we go to, in the meantime, Aaron, how can people hang out with us?
Yeah, I mean, two big ways right now. Hit us up at cheers@Stop Wasting Your Wine. If you want to email, you have recommendations, you want to come on the show, you're a winemaker, we'd love to have you. And otherwise, just, follow us on Instagram, join the conversation there, share it with a friend. We really appreciate it.
Love it. Awesome. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we'll see you next week for another great episode. And in the meantime, remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye, all.
Bye.